Generates. Yeah. Okay, so again old. If you open old folder here, we can see the old logs console. So whenever, if you restart your service or server, one old log will be, that current log will be moved to old folder and one more new log will be generated. Okay, go back. Open components here. As of now, this folder is empty. Yeah. So once you establish a session to any target, every session-related log file will be generated and it will be stored in the components folder. Okay, I will show you later. I will tell you how to check this, components, logs, and the business as an 8, although all those details I will tell you in later classes, once we start on putting. Now go back to PSM folder and open components. So here we have all the dispatchers and connection components. So, in case you have a requirement, like you need to develop one connection component to the ILO application or SMS application or some other application, then that SMS, ILO, all those dispatchers are auto ID files will be stored in this components folder. Okay. So, in case, if you are configuring connection component to any third-party application or some custom connection component, then we need to write either script or we need to generate that connection, that script, using plugin generator utility. Using plugin generator utility, we can develop CPM plugin and PSM connector also. Okay. And in case, if you are generating script plugin for the web-based connectors, again, we can do that using plugin generator utility. So after clicking on connect button, so in case, if you are connecting to any Windows machines, so that RDP client will be launched from components folder on. If you scroll down, you can get some RDP client in the same way, and in the same way, if you scroll to bottom, you can see WinSCP also. Yeah. WinSCP and SSH client. So the connection components will be available in the components folder. So in case, if it is a thick client, then we need to install that application, that software in the PSM server. So, for example, SMS, so you have a requirement to call SMS. What application? It's related to database SQL Server Management Studio. Okay. So database will use that SMS application. Yeah, so first you need to install that SMS application in the PSM server. And here we have a dispatcher related to SMS. What are dispatchers? Dispatchers here are basically the RDP client, the SSH client, the WinSCP. These are called the dispatchers or something else. These are also dispatchers, but for custom related things. So if you see here AWS console with sent dispatcher, and if you scroll down related to our search in the search box, just SMS and see anything is coming up. No. AWS was there, but I don't know why I didn't search for that. Basically, this dispatcher will give the instructions how to launch that component. And if you see here PSM Private Client Dispatcher, again PSM PWA Dispatcher. So we can configure Vault local account to launch our PWA and private directly from the PWA page itself. No need to log into any server to launch private client. So we have a connection component for that also. So in case you configure those kind of connection components, then we need to add those related files in the components folder and we need to configure. So basically, I should be able to launch it directly from Cyber to PWA itself. So we have a separate platform for that, and we need to create even we can onboard our CyberArk administrator account also into our PWA portal. And we need to map that platform, which was provided by the Cyber. So in that platform, we have two connection components. One is PSM PWA and PSM Private Client. So if you click on that, a previous private client, directly that private client will be launched and username and password will be injected automatically and session will be established. And what does this PWA dispatcher do? Again, it will launch PWA. So in general in companies for our ID they will not provide full access, so they will restrict the access. So for getting full access, like in your login, in your lab environment, you can see all the tabs on the left-hand side system, health accounts. But in some companies they will restrict access to your ID also. Even though you are a CyberArk administrator, they will provide only accounts access, reports access. They will restrict the access to configuration options. So for making any changes to the configurations or platforms you require that administration options tab for that region. You need to launch any separate account which is having that access. For example, Vault Admin 1, Vault Admin 2 kind of thing. So for those accounts they will configure PSM PWA component. So if you click on that PSM PWA launcher, it will launch a Chrome browser. And inside Chrome browser you can see all the PWA. Again, PWA will be launched in the Chrome browser. So in that browser you will be having full access. So basically to say that even if the CyberArk administrator is that even his session will be monitored if he had to make any changes. Yeah, I get that. Okay, go back. So this is all about the components folder. So all the component connection component related information will be available in the components folder. Now open hardening. Okay. So hardening. Here we need to touch two things. One is Apple Locker and other one is hardening OK. So here PSM, configure a blocker that XML, open that XML file. This is XSD. Okay, this one. Open and open in a notebook. Put it in a notepad. Open in a notebook. Close the notebook. OK, maximize. Scroll to bottom. So here you can see, Only a few applications had allowed by default and remaining all are blocked. So hardening the PSM server. All the applications will be blocked. Only few applications will be allowed. So for that, where do we say what is blocked? For instance, VNC viewer is there. So, for example, on the above, you have a Google Chrome process. Google Chrome is it? Okay. So to whitelist applications in the PSM server, we need to run this Apple. Okay, so before running the Apple lockers, we need to allow specific applications. So, in case, if you want to allow Google Chrome, then you need to uncomment this section. By default, this section is commented. You can see if relevant before people even able line. If relevant, yes. Before if relevant, there is a comment. Okay. Left arrow exclamation mark and end of Google Chrome process. Comment below to below line. So this one right below line. You have a comment ended, comment ended.